everyone, welcome to Learning Literature with Purva. In this video, we are going to talk about the Age of Revival, which comes right after the Age of Chaucer. So this is the period between Geoffrey Chaucer and Edmund Spenser. The timeline of the period is roughly between 1400 AD and 1550 AD. So in this video, we are going to talk about the historical background and the literary features of this age. So after this age, we have the golden period of England, which is the Elizabethan age. But in order to understand how the Elizabethan age came, you must know about the Age of Revival. So if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, then do subscribe to it and hit the bell icon so that you'll never miss an update. In England, the Age of Revival begins with wars, chaos and unrest. It concludes with a settled dynasty that leads to the Golden Age of England or the Elizabethan age and a reformed religion. In England as well as in other European countries, there is this broad intellectual flood called Renaissance, and a renewed desire for knowledge and learning is present. Now let's take a look at the major historical features or the historical background of this age. So at first we have the War of the Roses, which was fought from 1455 to 1485. The War of the Roses was a series of civil wars that was fought between the two English royalties for the throne of England. So the two English royalties were the House of York, represented by a white rose, and the House of Lancaster, represented by a red rose. Henry Tudor killed Richard III, thereby bringing the War of the Roses to an end. So Henry Tudor, later called Henry VII, became the new king or the first Tudor king of England. Now, Henry VII or the Tudor king or the Tudor dynasty has the blood of both the House of York and the House of Lancaster. How? I'm telling you. Henry VII was a distant cousin of Lancaster and he got married to the daughter from the House of York. So that's why the Tudor dynasty has the blood of both the House of York and the House of Lancaster. And therefore, the people of England were very happy when Henry VII became the new king of England. So peace returned to England when Henry VII became the new king, and Henry VII encouraged education. So he used to send scholars to Italy and Greece. Therefore, we can see that Renaissance in England is present during the age of Henry VII, or from the Age of Revival, we can see that Renaissance in England is present. Henry VIII succeeded his father Henry VII and became the next ruler of England. Now Henry VIII married many times to get a son. At first he married Catherine of Aragon, who was a Catholic, and they had a daughter called Mary. Henry VIII started the Anglican Church, where the king is the supreme head. He nullified his marriage with Catherine because she could not give him a son and also disinherited his daughter Mary. Next he married Anne Boleyn, who was a Protestant, and they had a daughter called Elizabeth. Henry VIII sentenced Anne Boleyn to death due to witchcraft, but the real reason is that she could not give him a son. And he also disinherited his daughter Elizabeth. Later he married Jane Seymour and they had a son, Edward VI, who was crowned at the tender age of 9. Now because Edward VI was suffering from a terminal disease, he could rule for only 6 years and died at the age of 15. He was a Protestant and he eliminated many Catholic practices. The first daughter of Henry VIII, Mary, became the next ruler of England in 1553. She reinstated Catholicism in England and executed plenty of Protestants, due to which her nickname was Bloody Mary. She ruled for only 5 years. Then in 1558, the second daughter of Henry VIII, Elizabeth, became the new ruler of England, and thus began the Golden Age, the Elizabethan Age, which was a calm, stable and an enriching period. Everyone loved Queen Elizabeth. Despite being a Protestant, Queen Elizabeth allowed both the Catholics and Protestants to live in peace. So after the War of the Roses and the entire Tudor dynasty, let's look at the next feature of the Age of Revival, which is Reformation. The Age of Revival is the Age of Reformation, which is a religious movement. The Protestant Reformation is a movement by Martin Luther, a German monk. It was against the rigid practices of the Catholic Church and the corruption amidst the clergy. Martin Luther wanted people to read the Bible and interpret it in their own way instead of blindly listening to the clergy. The followers of Martin Luther were called Protestants. Another Reformation movement started in Switzerland by John Calvin, and his supporters were called Calvinists because the movement was called Calvinism, which is a branch of Protestantism. Now let's take a look at the literary features of the Age of Revival. Number 1. Arrival of the printing press. William Caxton is the first printer of England. He brought printing to England in 1476 and printed almost every known work, including that of Chaucer and Malory. Second is the development of the English Bible. In 1450, Johannes Gutenberg published the Gutenberg Bible, which was the first printed Bible. William Tyndale translated the Hebrew and Greek Bible texts into vernacular English in 1525. Tyndale's Bible comprised the entire New Testament and half of the Old Testament. Then Miles Coverdale completed the task left unfinished by William Tyndale in 1535. So in 1535, we get the first complete printed Bible in English, which was produced by Miles Coverdale. Drama. The Age of Revival showed growth in drama, which was a preparation for the great Elizabethan Age. So there were 3 types of plays that gained popularity during this age. Number 1 is mystery plays based on the stories of Bible, miracle plays that focused on the life of saints, and morality plays, which were allegorical plays that promoted virtues and the goodness in life. Then came interludes, which were short dramas based on political and religious issues. John Haywood contributed largely to the popularity of interludes. Poetry. There was decadence in poetry. The major poets of this age are John Skelton, John Lydgate, and Stephen Hawes. When compared to that of Chaucer, their poetry is childish and inept. Also in this age were the Scottish Chaucerians, who were poets from Scotland that followed Geoffrey Chaucer's writing style. Some of the famous Scottish Chaucerians are William Dunbar, Robert Henryson, and Gavin Douglas. Prose. English prose developed during this age due to the Reformation movement. The notable writers are Thomas More, the author of Utopia, and Erasmus. The Age of Revival is a season of germination, rest, and recovery. The literary impulse, slowly awakening, is waiting for the right moment. In England, this age lays the foundation for the great Elizabethan age to follow. That's it for today's video. If you found the video helpful, then do like it and share with your friends. And you can also watch the videos of the age of Chaucer and summary of the history of English literature in my channel. They will really help you to understand this video. And I'll be back with the next video on the history of English literature, which is the Elizabethan age. So do subscribe to my channel and stay tuned to Learning Literature with Purva. And thank you so much for watching.